You better believe there's a light that shines upon you, and it's more than you can hope for in your dreams.
Hello, Annie. I'm so excited about our call.
Oh, so am I.
All right. So Annie and I are just going to riff, y'all. So don't think like this is going to be a snooze fest, boring webinar. We're just going to have a really fun conversation. So Annie, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Yes, I'm Annie Rouvillois. I'm coming to you from northern Michigan, Glen Arbor, Michigan, where I have been staying for the summer. But I am actually a nomad living on a bus. And I finished last spring, actually, my level 1 Creative Awakenings Facilitator Training.
Yay! We had like the buttons like they have on real podcasts. They'd have all the cheering going on in the background, but I'm not that high tech yet.
No, I just have the beautiful waves.
Oh, it looks heavenly.
It is heavenly today. Beginning to get cold though, which is telling me time to go.
Time to go back to the desert. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to start us off with that age-old poem from the book, The Calling, because The Calling was, for me, something that this poem is what I discovered during my nomad experience, which was right after 9/11. My ex-husband and I went on the road for a whole year. And that's a longer story, but it's in the book. And that year-long journey was really what inspired the book. And so when Annie first called me about the training, I was like, oh, I so want you as part of this training. Yes, please come play with us. Because it was like meeting a soul sister. Van life now is a thing and it's wonderful. I really miss it. I think that year on the road, especially after 9/11, really brought back my sense of humanity and the good and kindness of people. And I know that you had quite an exciting experience doing the training from the desert.
Yes.
And doing your apprenticeship in the desert.
Totally.
And so I would love to have you talk a little bit about that experience, but I thought maybe we could start with what called you to the training in the first place?
Absolutely. I was thinking about it. I actually reached out to you and I did not know exactly what expressive arts was or what I was signing up for. But I called you. I had this feeling. When I built my bus, I have a piano on my bus. I have 2 guitars. I have ukuleles. I have 2 dulcimers, 2 dulcitars, many instruments. And I wanted to bring music, art, dancing, movement, anything to out into the world and to share it. I was absolutely certain that this was a type of healing that I wanted to implement. My mother, who has since passed away, but was a regular talk therapist, a Jungian analyst. And that's wonderful. There's a place for that. But I just have always felt there's much more, much more we could get out of different kind of therapy, right? So I called Sheri, and Sheri, help me where I'm going with this.
I think you were on the bus. You were literally on. We had our first call while you were on the bus.
Yes.
Because I remember saying, oh gosh, Annie, I have to see your bus. Because you had told me you had a piano. And I was like, oh my gosh, I needed you. But you had such spotty reception that you were like this, like serious, like wild blur, right?
Yes.
We had the most delicious conversation. And I remember you saying, I really don't know what I'm signing up for, but I am so called to this.
Right.
And I think you said yes then, or it was not shortly after that.
Well, yeah, but so this is a really, really important part. If this helps anybody else who's thinking about signing up, I was absolutely adamant that I could not do it online, that I needed to be in person with Sheri. I will tell you now that's what, almost exactly a year ago. And I have never actually worked with Sheri in person. Everything has been online. I pushed myself to do it. It was a difficult thing, but I got through it. In fact, if I'm going to share something that I created during our training, it very much had to do with my fear of not being able to work with somebody in person and having to communicate online with somebody, which I'm getting better at. I'm getting better at.
You did. I mean, you were so amazing. You persevered. I know that the platform, everything was glitchy sometimes, and then you had spotty internet, and then people in the desert would lend you their desert dwelling tent that actually had reception. I mean, like Annie, I think, wins the prize for the person who was so resilient. And what it said to me, Annie, was how deeply in your heart you really wanted this for yourself.
Yes.
And
yes.
And the truth be told, in the beginning, when I first started working online, it was actually before COVID, but I had originally started working on the phone, and I wasn't sure how I was going to really like the phone, but I ended up loving the phone because there was something about not being in the room with somebody that allowed me to go into this really empathic place. And I would get what I call these downloads, and then we moved to, of course, and then I was already teaching some things online when COVID hit, and then I felt so grateful because I was already set up. I knew how to do it. I had all my crazy little equipment like this and all that all ready to go, and then I was also able to help other people know what to buy and all that stuff. And so tell me a little bit. We've done a lot of online. I mean, during COVID, literally, I was doing 2 online art healing and hopes. And some days we'd have up to 26 people in the Zoom room from literally all over the world. I don't know how they found me, but it was really during COVID that I realized, wow, you can create community in these little boxes. I mean, we danced, we painted,
Sheri, I mean, I can say that, everything that happened to me, all that I went through, all the difficulties, everything, like, it feels like it was meant to be, because those are the ways that I really needed to be pushed to heal. And one thing I knew about bringing arts in my way, music or whatever it was going to be, was that I needed to do some significant healing myself before I tried to be some facilitator for other people. And this is probably the biggest thing that did happen for me during my work with you.
And Annie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I could get emotional thinking about it, because it really, I mean, first working online, second, I'm a professional photographer. I've been a professional photographer since I was, 17 years old. But for some reason, I didn't consider myself an artist. And so when our very first assignment was to just draw a simple little picture of, who we are, whatever, and I had a full blown, what did I have? I think I kind of dissociated. I couldn't think. I went blank is what happened. And, those kind of experiences, well, A, it was good for me to be able to work through that and go ahead and share my little stick figures and go through that whole thing. B, prove to myself I am an artist, like totally an artist. And C, to know that this might happen. These kind of things might happen with my participants. And if it does, oh my God, I've been through it. I've been there, and so it only made me become a better facilitator, for sure.
Oh, Annie, I couldn't have, we're riffing here, y'all. So like that is such an important part of this training, because I believe that, it's easy to do these at your own pace type things. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that, but there's something about going through a process in a circle of other people. And Annie really did not believe she was an artist. She's not just saying that. And honestly, that is the phrase that I will probably have somebody put on my ashes. I am not an artist, because the truth is we are all artists.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and
Yes.
and I think your point about having to walk the path yourself first
Yes.
is the most important part of the level 1 training, honestly.
Yes. Mhm.
Because you're 100% right. If we you're going to experience exactly what your clients or your groups or whoever you're working with are going to experience.
Yes.
And if you haven't walked that mile in your own shoes,
Mhm.
you're going to probably panic when somebody else goes, "You want me to do what?"
Right.
I can't, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and so that is, to me, the most beautiful gift of coming together in a circle. But why I am so sort of, I really take this seriously, that we need to walk our own journey before we can walk someone else through theirs.
Yes.
And I will tell you all honestly that when I got my graduate social work degree back in the day in 88, that was not part of our experience. Well, thankfully, I was in therapy. I'd been in
Yes.
therapy since I was a kid, but we were not asked to do that. Yes, we had supervision, we had these internships and supervision, but I remember being like, "Oh, here's your diploma, you're out," and saying, "Oh my, now I'm responsible to sit with somebody in a room with their mental health on my shoulders,"
Mhm.
it was terrifying.
Yeah.
So one of the most important parts, I feel, not only of going through walking the path yourself, is also that apprenticeship, that where you're now taking what you learned in those 8 weeks and
Yes.
you're using it with a group.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I cannot recommend that part enough, right? That
Yeah.
supervision while you're trying your first several weeks with your group. And not only getting together back with you, but also the colleagues that, I took the course with. And actually, we still stay in touch. We try to get together once a month and we report to each other and what's working and what's not. And it's fantastic. I think I'll be connected with them, hopefully forever.
that
But
makes
yeah,
me so
really.
happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yes.
you're really creating, a community that I do hope is something that lasts for a very, very long time. So tell me a little bit. I really would love for you to describe what you did when you went down to the desert and what you created down there.
Well, you know what? I figured that I really wanted to do this, get it going and see how groups would run. So I found, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 friends, 2 men and 2 women. And I basically just set up a tent and tables outside of my bus. And, I set a time, and I do remember I first telling them, well, it's going to be a 2.5-hour commitment. They said, "Oh, that sounds too long." They really didn't know. They were friends of mine, didn't know exactly what they were signing up for. But after the first session one, they were like, "Oh my gosh, we need at least 2.5 hours." Or they were saying, "Can we have can we have some extra time?" But even more important than that was what happened during these sessions. I know my expressive arts experience was profound for me and deeply emotional and helped me understand a lot of stuff about myself. I was 99.9% sure that I could bring this out to other people. My very first session, I mean, I had such reactions from the members of my group that having had the training was everything. I knew, how to handle some of the situations, but people were deeply, deeply, deeply moved and affected by their very first experience and my very first session. So I was so motivated after that. I was like, wow. And yeah, I received, letters from these people after we were all done.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, my heart.
Yes. Yes. Some and one from a man who didn't really know what he was signing up for and didn't know what he would get out of it or if he could do it. He didn't feel like he was an artist either. And he said, so much happened for him. And yeah, just wonderful sharing afterwards. So that was encouraging.
Oh, Annie, really. And, Annie sent us all photos of her art tent, and she had gathered these awesome twigs, and she made this wooden sign that said art tent out of the twigs.
Yes.
And I swore that I was going to get my car and go find them. And maybe this year, I'm coming to find you.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
it was such a beauty as a mentor to witness your journey. And I'm not just saying this, to witness you go from such uncertainty to the confidence to take this and run with it was a gift to my life. Really. Well, it's always a gift. This is a circle. I feel like I'm just a channel, and
Yes.
I'm just giving you all this mentorship because it's my passion, and it's been what's kept me in the game for 35 years. Because if I had to sit in an office for 35 years, I would have been gone a long time ago. And the heart connections that you make both as a facilitator with the people that you're taking on a journey, because I really do believe that when we are facilitating, it's not I'm up here and you guys are down here.
It's the first thing that I explained to them. Yep. It's not a hierarchical.
It's a co-creative process. We are co-creating, and in that circle, I'm learning, you're learning, they're learning, and it's this beautiful, as my teacher Puma says, Anyi, which is the reciprocal. It's a reciprocal way of being in the world. We take, we give, we take. And I think that's one of the things that has kept me energized, going. I'll be 65 in January. That's why this year is called the Wisdom Teachings, because it is really time for me to pass down the wisdom to those who want to carry the torch. I've had so many incredible mentors, and I thank every one of them. And it's now time to pass that on so that candle gets lit down through the generations.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. And Sheri, I think that I realized that our main goal as facilitators is to create a safe container, and then I think whatever art medium, whatever it is, that will do the rest of the work. I had my first participants after a few sessions asked me, one of them in particular said, okay, wow, there's been some really heavy stuff that's come out, and she said, for our last session, could we just do something really light, and I said, fine. And I, picked some prompt that I thought was very light. It really was about, being loved fully or something like that. And I kid you not, that was the session where the darkest stuff came out from every single participant. One woman in the bonfire the next morning, decided to ceremonially, burn her piece. But it was so incredible. So I think as facilitators, what I learned, create a safe space, and you have your supplies and everything, and the work will do itself, basically. The art will Yeah, whatever people have in them to get out and to examine, to look at, to consider will come out. So
Well, oh,
that was a
I couldn't have
huge,
said it better.
yeah.
Like it's amazing. All right, I don't want to keep you long. I want to
Okay.
ask you what your greatest takeaway was.
From the training.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me think about this. So, okay, I will say on a very personal level that what what like a prompt that we give that may sound fairly simple, like as a facilitator, um, you don't know what's going to come up for somebody else. So, and I did just say create a safe container, but that's one thing that I learned that oh, how do I want to put that? Like in the experience with you, Sheri, like some of the prompts, weren't that big of a deal, but something came up in me and just like roared its head.
Uh-huh.
And you were there to be calm, stable. You pushed me sometimes, you pushed me out of my comfort zone sometimes. That's necessary at times. And you held space and held back at times. So I would say that's one of the biggest things that biggest takeaway, that we don't know what will come out, but if we can stay calm and don't try to interpret somebody's work or change the words, just be a safe container, just hold space.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so amazing.
And I will add one thing I just thought of, that I don't believe as facilitators, we are there to heal our participants. I believe that they have absolutely everything in them that they need to heal themselves. And we are just the conduit, right?
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, huge part for me.
It's a year almost. And to have this conversation now, I am in awe, really, because I have the visceral memory of that first call. And now I have the beauty of this call. And to see really, like you really took it all into heart, Annie. And I am so honored, really, to have you out in the world, whether you use it or don't use it. I am so honored to have you in this circle of facilitators because I think, well, I don't think, I know and have known from that very first glitchy conversation in the bus
Yeah.
that there was something here for us together.
Yes.
And that you have a gift to bring to the world. You do.
I believe it.
And you have a gift that you are bringing to the world. And I know there were some really challenging moments in the art tent, and we don't have to go into them,
No.
but
Yeah.
to witness you handle those challenging moments with grace, which were some big moments, and a couple specifically, which
Uh-huh.
like, that's an advanced move, but
Yep.
you did it. And it was incredible. Yeah. And you gave a huge gift to your community in the desert.
Yes.
And I remember the letters that you said you received, and to even hear the story of the woman who took that suffering and that pain or that old wound or whatever needed to go into that fire, that's everything. Is there
Yes.
anything else that you would want to share with anybody? Was it a risk for you to invest?
You know what? I'm a risk taker. I just knew it was 100% worth it. I'm just like that.
Uh-huh.
Whether I felt like I had oodles and oodles of money at the time, I just knew it was worth it. So but I kind of fly like that, my life. I know the money will come. I know that, the right path will make itself known. whether I'm on the bus or doing expressive arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, the money never,
I
and it's not
love
that
it.
I'm made of oodles and oodles of money. I just knew that it was, it'd be coming back to me in spades. Yeah.
If you were going to leave today with one piece of advice for somebody who's considering the training, what would you
Mhm.
share with them?
Oh, wow. Wow. I would say, if there's any question, absolutely do it. Uh, because Sheri, I think that whether you end up going out and using it as a facilitator, I mean, I imagine you'll be fully equipped to be able to do that. But if you don't, the transformation that you will have gone through just by going through the course is so worth it. If it's not expressive arts, you will, by doing this work, figure out what it is you are supposed to be doing.
That is such a truth, right?
Yes, the
What
truth.
is calling you in the
Yes.
deepest place of your heart? What is calling you? And that's such a profound statement, Annie, because, and honestly, that was totally unscripted.
Yes.
Um, and the profoundness of that statement is that that's exactly why I wrote the book in the first place, was to help people uncover their dreams and their
Yes.
hopes and
Yes.
and to allow them even breath, that they have the space where no one's telling them, oh, that's ridiculous, you can't do that.
Right.
And to have a container like your visual journal where you're putting all of that material month after month after month after month and be able to look back, it becomes an artifact of your life journey.
Absolutely. I go nowhere without that, without my book.
Oh,
Without my book. I go
I
nowhere. I go to music festivals. I throw it in the bus. Somebody might want to. No, it's an absolute. Yeah, it's part of me. I wouldn't want to part with any single
love
piece
it.
of art
I'm
I
kind of
created.
almost like near tears. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So Annie and I, Annie was maybe going to read you a poem that she
Okay.
wrote.
Okay.
And if you're up for that and you would
Yeah.
like to leave us, so this is a poem that Annie wrote. So I'll let her fill in the blanks about
Yeah.
the rest
Yes.
of it.
Okay. We had an assignment that was, I don't even know exactly what the prompt was. But so far we had really used just our notebook and our collaging. And for some reason, I was drawn to taking a chance and doing something different. It had come up in the previous class and session. A, a part of me that I really hate, that I feel has been holding me back like much of my life, like came out during the experience during class with Sheri. Sheri really, really helped me through that. Uh, and I basically put it down in words how I felt. And then I happened to be out at like a sporting goods store, and I walked by these target practices, these forms, these human, head and shoulder forms that are supposed to be for target practice for shooting. And I thought, oh, how appropriate. This is a part of me that I would really like to shoot. But I realized that I need to make friends with this part of me, because hating it is just making it worse, making it come out more and more often. So I'm going to read you the poem that I ended up writing on the backside of the person that I created, that I thought I wanted to get rid of, annihilate. And actually, she rides around with me on the bus. And I'm
Thank
getting
you.
to love her. So I will see if I can set up in a way that will.
Oh, there she is. Hello.
So
Oh, I love it.
this is the
Hello.
okay. And let me know, Sheri, if you can hear me. Okay, can you still hear
Yep,
me? Okay. Okay.
totally.
So I am going to end with this. I'm so excited for you all to be hopefully starting your journey. and this is how I'm going to end our interview today. The poem is called Disowned. Boa constrictor around her neck. I expect her to speak through her weakness, not reek. Underarm sensing harm that's not even there. I don't share her confusion over thought she has lost. Why so many words? It's absurd. I can't trust the rapids that rushed past her lips, falling down to a ground she can't find. Her mind once focused, calm and clear, filled with fear, sabotaging the reason we came. Who's to blame for the shame sitting heavy on her heart, for her chest, no rest for her chest, gasping for breath. Nothing left from implosion but outer space eyes. Can they see? Can you see her need to be freed from the jungle of judgment where she lives inside me?
Oh. Thank you so much. Thank you for following your heart, for reaching out. Thank you for being in my beautiful circle, in my heart circle. Thank you for taking this work, making it your own, bringing it and serving your community in whatever way fills your soul. I am so grateful to you, Annie, both for today and for everything that you offered me during our time together.
Thank you, Sheri.
And I miss you. I miss seeing
Yes,
you.
I know.
So you
It's
might just get a
special.
visitor.
Okay.
I even have my own tent. I bought a tent this winter. I mean, this
That would be
fall.
great. You
Yes.
are welcome anytime.
I would. Okay, we're going to talk. We're going to make a
Okay.
date.
Okay.
I love you.
Love
My
you.
beautiful nomad.
Yay.
Go with goddess.
Okay. Thanks,
Mwah.
Sheri. Mwah.
Bye, Annie.
Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.
You better believe there's a light that shines upon you, and it's more than you can hope for in your dreams.